some ideas regarding the universal editor. So let's look at two different use cases. The first one we discussed is editing the cover letter. So that's the version that we have today. Um, Somewhere in the UI we have edit the cover letter or edit, and it will open the editor model. So that's one one use case. The other use case is in the cards. So everywhere we have a card, we can edit the card and the card from the user profile, and then we have the ability to edit any of this. So right now it's only text, manual direct text editing. So those are the two main use cases. I think that if we can find a universal mechanism, then we are pretty much covered. There's a large category of other use cases, which would be everything that's under your uh, ideal job report, goal report, and all of these personal brand elements. They are not shared, but they will each, we should be able to edit them as well. They have different formats. Some might be tables, some might be lists, some might be plain text. So one of the thought I have would be something like, let me see if I can go full screen on that. Yeah. So something will be having a customizable component. And what I propose is we have, so as discussed on the left, we have the different tabs for the different tools. We can, for now, call them, at least internally, so we understand each other. One's called the tools, one's called the chat, and one's called the coach. The tools, as I mentioned earlier, they should be commands. They are not, so commands are when the user clicks on it, it does directly execute the command. And then we have the main content area. So in the case of a cover letter, it would be plain text, not even markdown or any rich text editing, just plain text. So what we discussed in the cards use case is each card has a title. But in the case of a cover letter, we may not have a title that is at least not exposed to the user. So one configuration for the editor is has title. If the editor doesn't, if we don't need to expose the title, then this section doesn't show up into the model editor. Then we have the content itself. In the case of cards, we have the concept of having more. So we have the cards and we have the model. In the case of the cover letter, we only have the main content. So maybe this is renamed content, or maybe, yeah, maybe this is called content and this is called more, maybe. So to make it more universal. So we already have a property in the card called has model. So if we have has model, then this should not show up, this tab should not show up, and we should only display the content. Now, if the content itself, and we have a property for the content, if the content is markdown, then we can display the markdown toolbar. If it's maybe we have one called plain text. If it's plain text, we do not show that. In fact, different kind of content may have different uh, uh, characteristics in terms of rendering and data structure. We already support that in the cards. Something called through the templates, something called like pills, something called the gauge, something called the video. And in some cases, we have potentially multiple keys under the main content. So I think we have, if we follow this basic structure, we can already see that we could edit the cover letter with has title none, or sorry, has title false, has model false, content type is plain text. Then we need a template actually called cover letter template. The cover letter template should take care of has title or not, has model or not, true, false, and just displaying the plain text editor here, where users can directly type and edit the text. On this part of the configuration, I'm also thinking that this is part of the template. So has tools, has chat, has coach is the display of the tabs. I've been thinking we could even have a fourth tab later, and that could be something that Ibrahim was talking about is um, um, the history, the versioning. So we could have a tab called version, which could have also has version yes, true, and that would just show the list of the different versions that have been saved. So each time we would save, we would just have a timestamp, and user could click and visualize the version at the time of the timestamp with the ability to revert at any of the timestamps. All right, so within has tools, we'll need to have to declare a list of the commands. So commands would be, in the case of the cover letter, we can think of two or maybe four commands just to start with and to experiment with it. One command would be make it shorter. Um, actually, we could be even more descriptive, and we could have something that says make cover letter shorter. Another one is make cover letter longer. Another one is make cover letter more casual. And one would be make cover letter more professional. And then let's start with that and just see what happens. So we will have an inventory of commands. Maybe it's part of the JSON of the template. It's a section about tools. Tools have a label, and tools have they should include the target. So the target in the label, for example, when we say make the cover letter shorter, then we need to pass, when the user clicks on the button, we need to pass to the backend through the API. We need to pass the target. In this case, the target would be the field or the JSON key called cover letter. So that in the backend, when we receive the command, we can construct the proper prompt and identify from the JSON object which is the field or which is the content that is being targeted by the intent by the user. So in this case, we will receive in the backend, or the editing prompt will be dear ChatGPT, here is cover letter, or we can pass the entire payload and say edit only the cover letter and make it shorter or make it longer based on which command we received. So I think this is scalable, and we can imagine when we are in the card, for example, and we have even in the case of the header here, we can imagine that the header is only a profile image. We have the username, we have the headline, we have the summary. We can have on the left-hand side, we can have the commands, and the commands should be specific. We should maybe have only one command that only applies to the summary, and maybe the command is reset the summary. And knowing that reset the summary will be interpreted as dear ChatGPT, update the summary to make it more technical. If that is the command, the button might be make the summary more technical, or reset the summary, or make it shorter, make the summary shorter. And then maybe we have a section of commands that apply for the headline. Or maybe later we can even expose some of the commands directly in line, so they are related to the keys of this part of the JSON object. But for now, let's just regroup them under the tools as individual commands. And again, the label should be clear for the user, or the UI should be clear for the user, so the user knows which element is being targeted by the command, like the headline or the summary. In the case of a single target, when the user is looking only at the cover letter, the command is going also to be the same as targeting the key, and the key of this JSON object would be the cover letter itself. All right, let's see what else I have. Just a little detail. I was thinking, can have something that is custom or more or additional. It would be the same as clicking on the chat tab. I didn't go into the details of the chat. The chat would be at least just a chat box where the user can type exactly the same thing as if we were to use the hard-coded prompt from clicking a command. So your user could do exactly the same things by asking to do a change. Now the difference on the tools on the chat here, I think it's totally feasible to have the user do the targeting. So in the chat, we should be able to receive a user instruction, and we can guide by putting some hints in the UI that say at the same time, make the headline shorter and make my summary more bullet list. So when we receive this instruction from the user, we should be able to pass that and say, dear OpenAI, here's what we would like to do, quote unquote, the instructions from the user, and pass along and saying, here's the current version of the header for this user. You can add more of all the context and things that we have discussed, but that will be only on the back end. And then it will, and it should parse as we send the JSON object, put the instructions, and asking ChatGPT to return an updated JSON object. So the headline will still be a key, the summary will still be a key, and the instructions will be applied to the different sections of the JSON. So I think that should be working. That should be working well. And for the third tab, for the Has Coach, if we enable that, that will be in the first version, the questions up to maybe 3 questions that are helping the user by answering these questions to make the content better. So we'll have to discuss a little bit more about how we make it more generic and how we understand the context so that the questions are highly relevant. Again, in the case of a cover letter, the context is quite simple and unique. It is the cover letter, and the questions can be just derived from looking at the job description and the information we have, the draft that we have, and the information we have about the user. But if we go into using the coach tab for the user's header, then we may have to prompt in a way that we may have a question that might be something, I don't know, something like uh, uh, is the headline something you are comfortable with, or do you want to try a different version? Something could be another question regarding the summary. Um, do you want your summary to be more technical or more marketing oriented or something? So we'll have to think about packaging maybe the coaching questions as part of the template. So the template for the cover letter will have maybe clarification questions or coaching questions, which are hard-coded, included into the template. Other little details. let's show created on or created at, whatever the syntax, created on the date and last updated date and the save. Um, and then just very quickly thinking, does it apply to a card that has video? So for now, we don't have tools that will make the video um, to edit the video, but later we could have a command that says shorten shorten the video to only extract my or to stitch the most important five topics of the video. So we would call an API with the reference of the video, and it will process the video and return a shorter video or something. Or we could say make the videos too dark visually, or so make it more bright. So we could have this kind of commands. So for now, I would say has tools is false, the same as has chat and has coaching to false, meaning that we would not display that. We would only display a directly editing field, which is the URL of the video, the title of the card, if that's the video template, and the field that is the caption or some text to describe the video, which we have, but I don't think the editor is supporting it right now. So that would be one configuration. The configuration of the peels, I think the three tabs totally work. I can imagine the template for peels may have a command that says less peels or a command that says more peels, reset the peels, and we can have the tab for the chat, and the chat may totally reset, and we could say something uh, remove all the peels which are showing technical skills. I only want to show collaboration and communication skills. So it would actually go and reset the JSON and resubmit and return the JSON that has respects the commands. Same for the coaching tab. Uh, we can hard code again in the template the clarification questions, and if the template is a smart card template, then we know the smart card template is focusing on skills. So the hard-coded clarification question can be something about do you um, what are your top skills, or yeah, we'll have to figure this out. But I totally believe that we can have coaching questions that help people refine or clarify the kind of skills that out of the draft that they would like to iterate on. If it's a blank card, the blank card is a pills card. So for that, it starts with no pills. Now, user can manually edit and add the pills manually, but the coaching card would be uh, uh, something like educational and question. Could be pills can be used to show skills, can be used to show the different companies you worked with, or the different locations that you've been working at. What kind of topic you would like to display in the peels, and that would be a coaching part of that, which is helping the user having ideas of things that they may not have been thinking that would be possible to do. And then we would the backend will just take the combination of the question and the answers from the user, tap into the background data from the Neo4j and from everything else we have, if and and return the JSON and show that. So same for the gauges. I think that would be the same. And here, yeah, this is when we have multiple keys, unlike in the cover letter where we have a single key. It's the cover letter, but as I mentioned, we can have multiple keys, and the comments will have to, the comments should target a given key or be very specific. Let's say make everything across all the keys shorter, and it will work on the three keys here in this mockup. I think that's about it. Yeah, more obviously to be discussed. See if we can see more here. So this would be editing the pills. So what I mentioned, yeah, this should be working. Yeah, in the case of my story here, as we display the more section in the model, so when we edit, this is where we should have two tabs before the title. One tab is whatever the name, I'm not sure yet, but maybe card to start with, and the other one would be model. So when you click on model, it will show the content of the model, which again could be a single key or multiple keys. All right, thanks.